is Tech Talk Today, episode 258, I believe, if my math is correct. My name is Chris.
And I'm Angela.
It's not right. It's 259, actually.
I was just going to say, you just said 259. How did it lose one?
I was testing you.
Okay.
I was testing you. Actually, I just get so freaking excited about Mario that it's all I can focus on.
Did you hear the coin?
And it's actually news relevant, too, but we'll get to that in just a moment. Time appropriate greetings, Mumble Room.
Hi. Greetings.
Hello. Hello.
Oh my gosh, it's Angela Fisher, everybody.
Hi, guys. It's good to have you here. Did you hear the news? So when Nintendo announced a Mario Run for the iPhone, it was suggested that one of the great advantages to Mario Run is you could play the game while eating. Did you know this?
No, I haven't heard anything about this.
Yeah, so that's why Miniato, I think is how you say his name, from Nintendo, he's the father of Mario over there. He proved it today on Twitter.
Hi, I'm Shigeru Miyamoto.
Yeah,
This is the new Super
Yeah,
Mario.
Miyamoto.
Super Mario Run. このゲームね、勝手にマリオ
In
が
this
走る
game,
ので
Mario runs on his own,
片手で
and
遊
you
べるん
tap
ですよ
like a monster,
それで
something like
マ
that.
リオが勝手にちっちゃな敵を飛び越したり
But that's not what's important. That's
and
not
that's
what's
not
important.
English, just in case you're
Yeah.
trying to understand it. It's not
Yeah,
English.
he starts in English and switches, but here he's showing you how he can weightlift while playing Mario. He can shake a hand, and right there's the money shot, ladies and gentlemen.
Eating a hamburger.
He eats a burger.
を食べながらでも遊べますよ。
That's
皆さん
great.
ぜひとも
Yeah,
I've never played Mario one-handed.
I am really looking forward to Mario on the phone. Is that silly of me? Like, I'm actually legitimately excited about this game.
Oh, I think the kids are going to love it.
I do too. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun to play with them. And one of the things that I was reading about is that some of the original Mario teams actually working on this thing. It's like legit.
That's great.
as far as the developers go. And I'm really kind of thinking this
Right,
is
because
cool.
we know every single level of Mario.
Yeah,
like,
you know that stuff.
Like that screenshot just there,
It's like Grandma's apple
that's
pie.
new. Like, I've never seen that screen. Like,
It's Grandma's
totally
apple
new.
pie, but with a new twist. And so it's going to be available on Android eventually. It comes out, it will launch initially, I think probably a little bit before the holidays on iOS. But come on. How long is it going to take before they got on Android? 6
Right.
months probably at most. So that's kind of cool. I guess you're gonna check it out. You're gonna load it up.
I think that'd be, fun.
All right. So I wanted to start with a positive note because this next story is kind of a bummer, but it's one of the big tech stories today. A Samsung Galaxy Note 7 has exploded in New York and burned a 6-year-old boy. He was watching a video on his grandma's couch. Yeah. So Samsung is having some problems today.
Jeez.
The reports are out that people are not really acting on the recall that Samsung has done on the Note 7, and in fact, they're having quite a bit of difficult.
This must be, it's very similar to that hoverboard that was,
Kind of is actually.
Yeah.
It's funny you say that because I've seen some comparisons of that.
Yeah.
And it is kind of a lot like that. And it appears to be when it's charging that it's an issue. However, today Samsung released an advisory to their customers suggesting that any use of the Samsung Galaxy Note 7
cause it.
could be dangerous.
Wow.
Yeah. That's some serious
Yeah, they stepped
stuff.
it up because I don't think, because people weren't taking it seriously. But wow, I hope that kid's okay.
Yeah, he was treated for burns and he is back at home already. So yeah, the boy's injured grandmother said that the fire caused by the phone was strong enough to set off alarms in the house.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, Abby brought me a nightlight yesterday that she was like, I don't know if you'll be mad, but look, and like the nightlight was burning through itself. I'm like, yeah, good. Thanks for bringing this to me. It's in the garbage now.
Yeah, it's a good thing she brought it to your attention. This is a particularly interesting case, I think, because I could be wrong, but I feel like the real story here is these companies are working at a crazy pace, not only to compete with each other. You know, one of the things that Samsung has been trying to do for years now is they try to get their flagship device out weeks before the new iPhone comes out.
So they cut corners.
Well, I don't know about that.
Or
but
maybe they faked it.
no,
Like the moon landing.
yeah. Oh wow. It is. They have been trying to compete very heavily in fast charging, in wireless charging, in getting charging even better. And it seems to be in that area is where this phone is falling down. And I don't know if there could be something to that. The race is so fast that they didn't slow down enough and maybe just let it bake a little bit longer. It's definitely a possibility. And then the way this return has been working, people have not been properly instructed on how to properly return the device to begin with. And now Samsung's expressing some level of frustration that the customers aren't returning them. I mean, it's kind of what you get. It's a real bad situation. Mr. Liu, you wanted to jump in. Go ahead.
Yeah, for the people, who didn't know about, the recall or whatever ahead of time, I mean, I can kind of excuse them for this, but as for the others, kind of dumb. And I agree with Rikai, feeling a little bit bad for Samsung here because they created this product that took them a long time to work up, and then all of a sudden there's just a huge problem with the product.
And they did jump right on top of the recalls. They really did issue them pretty quickly. Mm-hmm. They jumped on top of the issue when they only had like 37 reports of it, if I recall.
Wow.
And of course, gotta feel bad for the boy being burned by his grandmother's device too.
I would feel so awful if that happened to our
Thank
kids.
goodness it wasn't at his ear though. You know, like because he was watching it, right?
Yeah,
that's what you said.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Geez.
Yeah,
so
that's a good point too. Whew. Yikes. All right, well, so let's talk about the iPhone then. So on the other end of it, you got the iPhone 7, which Engadget is calling the most walled-off computer, and it's the one that Apple has always wanted. It's the first PC that Apple controls completely.
What? Walled off?
Yeah.
Meaning?
As in, you don't have access to the hardware anymore. It's like, say you want to make a gadget. Their main complaint centers around the poor folks over at Square who no longer can plug into the headphone jack.
Ah, that's interesting.
So they say, look, the headphone jack's nearly 100 years old. This is a pretty typical line. It's nearly 100 years old, and it gave us the ability to get access into the iPhone in ways that Apple didn't have control over. It was sort of like an analog loophole, not just for music, but also for potential devices. And to get in the MiFi program, which is spelled MFI, so I think you call it, I don't know how you say that.
Miffy?
I don't think Apple would call it Miffy. No, I don't. But it's the Apple certified program that allows you the rare privilege of using the Lightning port.
So, okay.
And you have to pass this Miffy certification.
So Square's going to have to do that in order to have a...
Square's way ahead of this. Okay, so this goes into why I don't think this is actually a big deal. Mm-hmm. So the point is legitimate, and I think that the jury is definitely out on if it's going to be a major issue removing the headphone port.
Mm-hmm. They have a pair of headphones there, though. Are they Bluetooth?
Those are the AirPods.
Okay. Are those
they're Bluetooth.
out yet or not?
Yes.
They are?
Well, they're as out as the phone is.
Oh, okay. Because I need a pair of those. What?
You want wireless headphones?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just lost a pair of freaking wired ones.
So let me go. So the headphone jack removal, I think, is a really risky move by Apple's part.
I agree.
And I think they're hedging for the next phone. But in the meantime, Apple made a decision last week that isn't getting a lot of coverage. And I think it speaks volumes about their expectations.
Ooh, let's unfilter this.
Yeah. Last week, for the first time ever, Apple announced that they will not be releasing sales weekend numbers for the iPhone 7.
Really?
For every major Apple product and for every iPhone ever, they've always released the sales. And they've always gone up at a really nice clip.
Why?
I think because the 6S is still a very well-performing phone. It's still just as competitive as Android phones on the market.
Yeah.
And because of the lack of headphone jack, not a lot of people are going to buy. Okay. And there's nothing revolutionary about the design.
Sure.
So I think the plan all along, and excuse the term, but it's the term that's being used, is this is Apple's plan to eat the shit sandwich. They eat the shit sandwich this year. They take all the heat about the headphone jack and the non-pressing button because they removed the button too. It's solid state now. They have a haptic feedback now.
Oh.
And so they're going to eat all of the complaints about that, not report the numbers.
Right. And then in a year when they release the 7S, all the other Android phones are going to start coming out without headphone jacks and haptic whatever.
I think if my theory is right, my theory is a combination of a bunch of other people's theory, I think it would be the iPhone 8 because it's the 10th anniversary of the iPhone.
And the iPhone 8 will just like
be glass to glass. So there won't be any black chin or head. It'll be all glass to the bottom. And the problem, if you go all glass, you can't really build a headphone jack there, and you can't have a movable button. So you do one more design. This in my hands right now, I'm holding the 6.
So it's an in-betweener.
This is the iPhone 6, which was the first iteration of this design.
Right.
They now have 3 versions of this design. They've never done that before.
Right.
I feel like they're punting.
Are you including the SE?
Well, the SE is a redesign of the 5S or a redo of the. No, I'm saying this particular 6 line has looked like this essentially.
Has all the stuff of a 6. The SE has all the stuff of the 6, but in the smaller form.
I'm not talking about hardware. I'm talking the hardware inside of it has gotten dramatic improvements.
Yeah.
The CPUs and GPUs have gotten dramatic improvements. It's just the physical look has essentially stayed the same. Because until your 5S, right, which you have now the SE.
Yeah.
but you had the 5S. Every phone, every major version looked different.
Yeah.
And then for the last 3 phones, they haven't changed the look at all. So they're going to have, they must be building to something big, and they have to make a few concessions. And along the way, they got waterproofing. But here's why I don't think removal of the headphone jack is a long-term big problem. The entire outrage around the removal of the headphone jack for devices connecting to the iPhone like Square is predicated on the theory that, well, now you've lost your analog connection into the iPhone, and you have to get a MiFi certified device now to talk to an iPhone, which completely ignores the fact that there is a Bluetooth radio and a Wi-Fi radio that is totally capable of doing all kinds of different types of transmissions, including TCP/IP.
Right.
So that Wi-Fi chip is just as open as any internet-connected device is, and you could run an app on the iPhone that's listening on its own wireless network, its own dedicated wireless AP that could be talking to your point-of-sale device over an SSL encrypted connection. I mean, I don't find this to be. I actually think this is more secure because that analog connection is insecure and rife for trifling, whereas a data connection could be secured and verified.
And requires third-party apps like Square to step up their game.
And Square already has. So I think they already have, in fact, a wireless product they've been trying to get people to switch over to since before this phone came out. Probably because Square's business being based on this headphone jack, they probably knew which way the wind was blowing a year ago.
Right.
I'm sure they're hip to this, you know. So I don't actually think it's a huge issue. I think it's really only a big deal for people who want a headphone jack and charge their phone at the same time. Because it comes with an adapter in the box.
Right.
But the internet is freaking out about it right now.
Yeah, you know, it just occurred to me that I'll have to do something different in my car then, because I use the audio jack.
You would. Well, you could use. So what I was thinking for things like that is, you would probably just leave the adapter that comes in the box hanging on the end of the headphone cord in your car, because that's probably the only place you really use it, right? So when you get in the car, you just leave. So you know in the box is coming with a lightning to headphone jack adapter.
Oh.
Yeah, so you can just leave that adapter plugged in on the other end of your audio cable.
Oh, okay. I just didn't know there was a lightning one. But yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
So really the only downside is you couldn't charge and listen to music through the lightning jack at the same time.
Yeah.
That's kind of a bummer. But and it looks like the adapters are $9.
Cheap.
So Monoprice might even come out with like a 5-pack or something. Right. So I really feel like this is one of those in 3 months. We'll still be kind of snarky about it, but it's really going to be a non-issue. And speaking in 3 months, the Lumia phone may be done. Microsoft is going to end sales this year of its Lumia brand. Really probably no surprise to many, and probably not to very many tears for others either.
It looks just like an iPhone.
I kind of think it looks like a Nexus phone. I think it looks a lot. Yeah, it looks just very generic, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's very generic. I think.
So this is end of life then?
Yeah, they're going to switch away from the Lumia brand completely, it looks like. Even their flagship devices are going to get replaced. So.
Does anyone in the chat or in the Mumble Room have a Lumia?
Or a Microsoft Windows phone at all? I doubt it.
Nope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I doubt it. And
Wind blows so.
Yeah, it's funny. Like, they just never got any traction. And that doesn't mean the Windows Phone smartphone operating system is going away at all. But this particular hardware line and brand is, which is just really something. It's really notable. It's just how much the market is changing right now, and how it hasn't really settled on any one particular thing. But the one thing that does seem to have been settled is it's pretty much an iOS-Android race, and Microsoft couldn't get in on that. While we're on mobile, let's talk about this story that's coming out today by The Intercept. I've just started to read it, and I plan to have more information in tomorrow's Unfiltered. So in some sense, this is sort of a story tease, but I think it's a pretty important one, and it's breaking right now, and I want to cover it. It's from The Intercept. Long secret Stingray manuals detail how police can spy on phones. We've talked about the Stingray before. It's a surveillance device. It's been one of the most closely guarded secrets in law enforcement for more than 15 years. The company and its police clients across the United States have fought to keep information about the mobile phone monitoring boxes from the public, against which they are obviously used. The Intercept has obtained several Harris instruction manuals, that's the company, spanning roughly 200 pages, and is meticulously details how to create a cellular surveillance dragnet. A technologist with the Privacy International told The Intercept that the manuals released today offer the most up-to-date view on the operation of stingrays and similar cellular surveillance devices, with powerful capabilities that threaten civil liberties, communications infrastructure, and potentially national security, he even said. You know, the document showed the Stingray 2 device can impersonate 4 cellular communication towers at once. monitoring up to 4 cellular provider networks simultaneously, and with an add-on, can operate so-called 2G, 3G, and 4G networks simultaneously.
Wow.
So these little boxes can be 4 providers at once. I got to go through the manuals. Just a couple other little highlights I want to share with you on the day that it's breaking. They've even got some interface, the Windows XP UI of it. One piece of Windows software used to control the Harris spy boxes. This software appears to be sold under the name Gemini. It allows police to track phones across 2G, 3G, and LTE networks. Another Harris app, the iDen Controller, provides a litany of fine-grained options for tracking phones. A law enforcement agent using these pieces of software along with Harris's hardware could not only track a large number of phones as they move throughout a city, but could also apply nicknames to certain phones to keep track of them in the future, to see where they go, where they move about. So you could just name this device ID Target 1 or Angela, and you could, watch Angela's movements as she goes about. The documents also make clear just how easy it is to execute a bulk surveillance regime from the trunk of a car. A Gemini Quick Start Guide, which runs just 54 pages, contains an entire chapter on logging, which enables the user, in this case, which is a cop, to listen to a log listen and log over-air messages that are being transmitted between the base transceiver station, that's BTS for short, and the mobile subscriber, which is the person you're monitoring, MS for short. It's not clear exactly what sort of metadata or content would be captured in such logging, but the police would just get it.
Jeez.
They have some interesting screenshots of the manuals and the UI, so I'm going to be digging through this kind of thing. It looks like it even supported like email alerts for cops when a nickname got picked up, so they would get an alert when somebody was in a certain area.
Wow.
And there's talk, we've also covered how they've taken these boxes to rallies for or protests, more accurately, to see who goes and keep track of who keeps showing up and those kinds of things. Mm-hmm. So it's a big release by The Intercept.
Mosenrath, you have a point on the security of something like this?
Yes, actually, I'm sitting there thinking to myself, what's the likelihood that someone would end up taking it?
Man,
how many of these have been stolen?
I don't know. I mean, they're pretty odd boxes. They're not super obvious to use, but you got to wonder. Here's the better question. Are they really doing anything that you couldn't do on your own? Because I think we've heard about these kinds of things being set up at like Black Hat and DEF CON this year. That, just average people getting some off-the-shelf parts that put together some systems could set up their own cellular towers.
# Raspberry Pi.
And it takes advantage of an inherent feature, and which in this case is a flaw of your cellular phone. The little baseband in your phone that's talking to the antennas and talking to the cellular network is totally independent of your phone's OS, and it's always going to go after the best signal, because best signal means best battery life, best performance. That's where these come in, is they just blast the area with super strong, crazy signal right down there at ground level, and your phone just instinctively switches over to it,
right? Because
it's the stronger, better signal that saves you battery life and gives you a better call. So they're totally taking advantage of just a built-in functionality of our phones.
It's genius.
It's something. It is something. I'm going to read more about it and hopefully have a breakdown on one of our shows. While we're on the topic of security, did you hear about Blue Hydra?
No.
Blue Hydra can expose all the 2 unhidden worlds of Bluetooth. Bluetooth low energy devices like smartwatches and wearables giving up information all day. Blue Hydra sniffs it up. That's right. Yep. Again, of course, obviously, once you have data that's being sent.
This is no surprise.
Yeah. This breaking today too. I don't really have much to add to, because who's surprised by this at all?
Right? Yeah.
Maybe I'll chalk this up for the TechSnap queue and see if there's something worth digging into. This is also probably going to be another big story. It's interesting. Monday, a lot of stuff's breaking, but we don't have a lot of details. This is a tweet from a real, I believe, I don't know if he's a developer of Tor or what, but there is a 0-day being reported that's impacting all deployments of the Tor browser. Has been confirmed, and in 96 hours, there's going to be more information.
Okay.
So right now, I guess there is a 0-day exploit of the Tor browser. So if you are using Tor for something very privacy or security important or conscientious, just be really sure that...
change your password?
Just be sure that you're being careful. And this could be nothing, but we're going to monitor. And they say we'll have more information in 96 hours. And I've seen this show up in a couple different places, but who really knows? Who really knows? The thing is all of the people that do know are at this point under NDA until they have the patches ready to ship for the Tor browser and stuff like that. And then once the patches are ready, the NDA will be lifted, or the embargo will be lifted, and then people can say what's what. So that's what we're waiting for next. This could be really good in just overall busting up some of these monopolies control.
And thank goodness for Netflix.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Netflix is asking the FCC to declare data caps unreasonable.
Yep.
Yeah, they say the FCC should use broadband deployment power to discourage data caps. I agree.
Yeah.
I think
it is in their favor, but also it is just logical, like to not have a data cap.
I feel like it is. Data caps are simply delaying the inevitable. It's obvious that as the years go on, the amount of data we all use increases and transmits, and the types of functionalities that you can do over an IP network go up. And there was a time where we didn't place our phone calls over data networks, and now lots of calls are routed over data networks. There was a time when we didn't watch streaming video over data networks, and now lots of streaming video is done over data networks. And it just keeps going on like that. And VR and 4K is all just on the precipice, and so it feels like these caps are just the obvious old dinosaurs that won't wake up.
And a demand for quality. So for those of you that didn't watch the HD feeds but now do,
it's true, right?
It's more data.
There is pressure on because that content creators want to push out higher quality stuff all the time. People want higher fidelity audio. They want that digital audio and make it nice and big and sound good. So yeah, I say good on Netflix, and obviously they have an interest here. Obviously.
Yes. But it's good.
I'd be curious. Anybody in the Mumble Room suffer from a data cap or like a limit or something like that from your ISP?
I don't really, but data caps have never made sense to me at all because you can have infinite data forever if you want to.
It's
no additional cost.
It's not
like what you mean.
It's not like you're draining the bits from a lake.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not like it's a physical finite resources, and this is what hampers these companies from making greater strides is that their thinking is myopic and centered on the physical world too much when the concepts that we're dealing with are like really hard or they're ethereal, and it doesn't make sense to have data caps at all for anyone.
Yeah, Sweetly, you have another type of problem, which is how many devices you can have.
Yeah, my connection's to Verizon, so but yeah, I would say it would depend on the devices and that. So
yeah, that is a tricky situation too. Mosen, go ahead. You have a thought on the data caps, Mr. Mosen. Going once.
Mosenrath.
Going twice. And I think he probably's muted. He probably his mic fell into the mic black hole where all mics quit working, and it's called USB device died. And it's just the worst. Mike on Coda Radio today, he was going to join us with. He has a I think it's like it's a Yeti. It's a blue Yeti. Died on him right before the show.
Oh jeez.
Right before the show, he was like, "Should I run to Best Buy?" Yeah. Bozenrath, if you want to jump in, you can. But otherwise, I'm going to move on. Yes.
Thank you very much. Now, one of the things about data caps, you have to sit there and remember, one of the most important things about it is, what is the one thing that data caps do for the company that you are paying to get your internet from?
Now, what do you mean?
It can charge you more money the moment that you go over that data cap.
Yes.
So it's not a matter of, we're running out of space, gas, room, anything like that. No. They're saying we figure that the average person is going to use, say, 60 gigabytes. So we're going to put a cap of 80 gigabytes. You want to go over what the average person wants? Go right ahead. We will be more than happy to help you as long as we can help ourselves into your pockets.
Exactly. Well, and that's what happens, to this guy here that uses a lot of data.
Yeah, that's true.
So, we have two different carriers, but
I've actually gotten way better about that.
Yeah.
Way better.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, part of the problem was Google Plus uploading the pictures.
Google Photo upload. Yeah, that got me
photo,
once. Yeah, that was. But once I realized that was happening. This is just a super cool story. Not super newsworthy, but I guess I got Mario on the brain today. Microsoft just approved an NES emulator on the Xbox, so you can play Nintendo games on your Xbox. I don't know how this is a thing. This can't last.
How can it not be a thing?
Usually Nintendo, puts the kibosh on that immediately.
Oh, I see.
They don't want.
Maybe they're getting a little loose.
Because they sell an emulator for their console. They want you buying a Nintendo to play Nintendo games.
Like a GameCube? Or what is the current Nintendo?
The
Wii?
Yeah, the Wii U, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, the Wii U, and you can get the arcade and get the classic games on there. You can get the Nintendo Arcade. So I was really surprised to say this. This is my way of saying you should better hustle. It's a universal emulator that can do Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, Game Boy Color.
Wow.
I know. If I had an Xbox, I would be getting that right away. That would be really cool. So I wanted to put the word out there because if it's like what happens in the Apple store, sometimes that S. Oh,
ouch!
Dang it!
Rikai just ended that excitement.
I knew it wouldn't. I knew it'd be too good. It just couldn't last. Yeah, Rikai just links us to a story. That
Microsoft blocked it though.
Probably on Nintendo's behalf. Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure that's probably. Well, there you go. See, I knew it wouldn't last long. I knew. Let's go have some fun though. Let's go kick it. So this is our Kickstarter of the week. It is.
Oh, I saw this.
It's got. It's doing pretty good. They had a goal of 15,000, and they've raised $3,469,000.
Because it's genius.
With 37 days left to go, 87,000 backers. It is called the Fidget Cube.
I never really thought it was a problem. I'd always suspected those around me had seen my incessant pen clicking, knee shaking, and desk tapping. But I had no idea how bad it had gotten.
Wow,
I just fidgeted all the time with anything I could get my hands on.
It's a parody, though.
It didn't matter what.
Yeah, this is me.
The bubble wrap.
What? Okay, this is
the
not
bubble
me.
wrap.
Oh my god.
The way it popped.
He's in a garage with a big spindle of it.
I just couldn't get enough.
Now he's jumping on it.
This is hilarious.
That was probably my rock bottom.
I have tried to bite Pubble. Yeah, it's no good. Don't bite it. Don't bite it.
Thankfully, my Kickstarter community told me there was hope.
From the people that brought you Duet comes over-the-counter Fidget Cube. Fidget Cube is a vinyl desk toy designed to satisfy any urges to click, roll, spin, and other common fidgety impulses without driving your colleagues and loved ones away. Fidget Cube is a cube that you fidget with. Studies have suggested that fidgeting increases focus and improves productivity. Side effects may include a sudden ability to cope with boring meetings, pay attention in class, power through Netflix marathons. Fidget Cube is designed to allow discrete fidgeting in any setting. Do not use Fidget Cube if you have an aversion to rectangular prisms.
Fidget Cube lets me satisfy my fidgeting without endlessly annoying those around me. I thought I could stop at any time, and now I realize I don't want to.
Fidget Cube can help. Take the first step to fidgeting freedom today.
I need one.
It's a pretty great video.
So in all seriousness, when we joke about fidgeting and we give our friends and coworkers a hard time for the pen clicking and the nail biting, but what if there aren't something? What if fidgeting is a coping mechanism, a way for us to stay focused and more present in the moment? Some scientists smarter than us believe that we have this thing called floating attention, which makes it hard for us to focus in certain circumstances. Oh, hey Mark.
Yeah, and actually fidgeting has been shown to be able to help keep that floating attention occupied, which helps you better focus on the task at hand.
Okay.
What's
the
maybe
bad
a
audio
little
is turning me off
crazier-
now. So that's the Fidget Cube. Despite the crazy audio there, I thought that was pretty neat. That is.
So okay, how much?
Now this is the
order
key
5.
question, right? You want 5? This is the good, you know what? Actually,
Dylan.
if they freaking for sure. If they freaking branded these,
yeah.
if they branded these, damn. So you can jump in at $1 if you just want to quote unquote show some love. Oh God, I love the power toggle switch.
I know, right?
Oh my God, look at that.
There's all sorts of things.
Fidget Cube Evangelist, which is no longer available, got in at $14. One Fidget Cube, $19.
Okay.
Not bad. They say they're going to retail for $25.
Maybe just 2 then.
Yeah, you can get 2 at $35.
3. One for you, one for Dylan, and one for me.
How about here, 5 Fidget Cubes, $79.
Yeah.
That's
Let's
not
do
bad.
it.
That's
Do
not
it
bad.
right now.
I'm not logged in right now. I know. Let me see. Am I logged in? No, I am not logged in.
Okay.
right now.
Well, I really, I think that it pairs well with ADD. And I don't have that, but I move all the time, and I play with my headphone cable, and I think I'm allergic to it. So it would be kind of great. In fact, it's vinyl. Yeah, I heard it say that, but I thought it said a final desk toy. But it's vinyl.
Yeah.
It's vinyl, so I'm not allergic to it. This is all good.
So Mumble Room, anyone not for backing this particular project? Yeah, I think everybody universally likes this one. Wow, how about that? We have a winner, an undisputed winner.
I can't. Whack, 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 whack.
All right. So you want to back it after the show?
Absolutely.
All right, the link will be in the show notes if you want to grab one too. They have 37 days left to go. That's a
great one.
That's a winner.
Yeah.
That's a winner chicken dinner for our. We had a couple of wins recently, which is good because we had like a multi. I was ready to like, we got to can this thing. It's not working.
Yep.
But now we got some wins back in the bag. I'm feeling good. There you go. So that is our Kickstarter of the week. Now before we get out of here, got a little Patreon stuff.
Ooh, I would buy a JB branded one for
I know.
$30.
That's what I'm saying.
That's interesting.
That's what I'm saying.
Allowed branding. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking
I was like,
about.
it is branded. Okay, yeah, that would be.
Talking about that.
That would be great.
What you talking about?
Should I
That's what I'm
contact
talking
them?
about. Well, they're probably a little busy.
They
at the
could probably
moment.
throw the logo on that toggle switch.
Holy smokes. Holy smokes. We got to stop the show right here. This is unbelievable. I can't even believe this. We are at a solid 700 right now on the Patreon.
Wow.
I know.
You know, it's crazy. At the beginning of the month when it starts charging cards, like the number goes down
I know.
dramatically.
I know. It's so sad.
I was afraid. I know. I was afraid it was going to go back up, but wow.
Great.
Well, what happens is people realize, oh, my card's bad. They replace it, and then they go back on the numbers.
You know, something that people have been loving, and just every now and then, people don't get to check it out every single week, but something that I've been getting a lot of good feedback on is posting the live shows. People like to post, so I post a few throughout the week, the complete live stream recording, beginning to end if you can't make it.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, honestly, it makes me think like with shows like, especially like with Lytics Action Show, I feel like there's a whole nother show in between the show.
Absolutely. Well, and how long were you live yesterday? From like what,
6
11
hours, I think, or something?
to almost 6.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
With a lunch break, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, not for me.
Oh.
But for Noah, yeah. It was a lot of recording. Now I think I've decided to split that one up into 2 so that way people have a little something to watch next week too.
Right.
But like when we do the double tech snaps, I have been typically doing the double tech snaps as a single file just to kind of gauge which one people like more. So you can always leave me a comment and let me know what you think about the live streams, posting that. And of course, we have different swag levels there. We have the cord cutters level if you're a cord cutter and JB is one of your primary sources of content or just want to keep us going. We also have the swag club, which may be opening up more.
Actually,
more
I
slots.
do need to open because somebody lost their spot because their card accidentally declined.
a
Yeah,
bummer.
so I'm going to open up a couple more.
Should we?
Yeah. So
Open
that
up like
person
3
can
spots
get
or
back
something so that person, maybe like 2 other folks can get in the swag.
Yeah.
So we keep it a managed level.
There's also other benefits if if you recently started listening to User Error, which has had 2 episodes now.
3?
3.
I think.
Yeah.
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 That's right. I forgot to post a 3rd to the regular subreddit. But anyway, Chris, for the last one, posted the background.
Yeah, I'm going to try doing
Which
that
is
for
kinda
folks that are. User Error right now is just we're going to see if we can just keep it listener supported. I don't know how long that'll work, but we'll see. I think the numbers are going up on the Patreon, so that's encouraging. So one of the things I'm doing to thank people is posting the wallpapers that we're using in User Error to the patrons.
Another thing is, you guys are kind of like the producers at some point. You invest in our content. So like I am redoing the donation page or the support page, and I asked for input, and I got like a crazy amount of good input from you guys. It was I think I opened it up to $3 and more, got a say in what I do, and that was really cool.
Nice. That's nice to get the feedback. It's like a user focus group.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah, it was things that I didn't even think of, and definitely worth considering. So
Patreon.com/day, and also just a general plug for all things. And check the calendar all the time. Like we didn't have an episode last week, and we did get the calendar updated to let you know. And I forgot. It was Labor Day. That's why we didn't have. Yeah. So then I guess that was probably fairly self-explanatory. You can also submit content or a Kickstarter of the week, a show, a topic you think would be great for us to chew on, feedback, stories, all that. Even your votes and comments are appreciated at techtalktoday.reddit.com. StarWarsPodcast.com. And don't forget that RSS feed. You can just subscribe and get the show automatically. Don't matter when we do it. Mm-hmm. You just get that show. All right, Andrews. I think that's everything we have for today. Say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Put down that joystick and get ready to ride. It's the Super Mario Brothers Super Show. I'm Mario. My brother Luigi and I are hot. Watch us take on the baddest bad guy in town, King Koopa. He's got his hooks out for Princess Toadstool, but we're gonna stop him cold. The Super Mario Brothers Super Show. It's awesome.
Super Mario, tomorrow at 7.